everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Hey guys, move this way. It's raining. It's been raining for a while. We have some storms happening. Stuff's been flying all over the place. We just had to go and save the pool from flying and the buckets from flying and the plant pots from flying. Depends when my hair's wet. Yeah, outside saving the plants and having to get the garage closed up. Hey there, Mr. Kevin. Hey there, Sadie. Hey, Supergirl. Hey, Danny. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. It sure freaking feels like that, doesn't it? Hey, iRock6. It was 7:45, but then my son said he wanted pancakes, so I had to change it. Change it to 8:15. We literally just finished cooking the last pancake. So that's why. That's why. Hey, I've got something to say. How you doing? Oh, hey, Steph. Who's ready to finish this finally? We're finally in the last little section. Then we're going to start going over interviews. And I think Bill Thompson is about to have another interview that he's about to do. I think with Brian Inton, my buddy told me about it. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's what he said. So I want to get caught up with going over the Q&A session from after and compare it to the little interview that, is it Dollinger and Gunderson? Those two? That they did, because it's crap. They dance around so much. They don't answer any questions. And then there's a panel that the crew from the Idaho Statesman did where they apparently like have some information about like stuff that they heard. Hey there, Ruby, about like, you know, just about what's been going on. So we're going to listen to that probably at some point and just get caught up on this stuff. I got another email today from Pullman with more information. I haven't tried the website probably since like 7 o'clock because I've been up doing stuff in the kitchen. But all day I've been trying to get it. I got it to finally load like past the login point like one time. Oh, the Crown YouTube. That's a YouTube thing. It's like the top 3. Like it goes with like the amount of times that you send in a comment. I think it is. I honestly don't pay attention to the YouTube updates. Like I don't read those updates or watch those videos. I just like see things and I'm like, oh, okay. And then like eventually hear people just like asking about it like throughout time. And that's apparently what it is. Yeah. Interacting with chat. You get points for how many times that you chat through, like make a chat or whatever. Yeah. Hey there, Michelle. Yeah. I don't know what is going on with that. Yeah. I'm excited to get rid of these already so that we can get back through the clips and get all of the actual like information out of here. I'm probably going to actually like reload my USB at some point and like get rid of some of these files because some of them are just redundant and stupid. And yeah, like I don't really think I want to like keep all of them at all. Yeah, we went over some of those yesterday. But we're in the last. Oh, you know what? Y'all are asking about the jail. Okay, let me show y'all this. So I wanted to show you guys this because there was a lot of people saying that he was only charged or like only had like 2 murder charges on his thing or whatever, and that's not true. It shows right here 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the burglary. So I don't know if it was like a glitch. Anytime that I've checked it, it's said what it's supposed to say. But this looks a lot different than whatever the screenshot was that people were sharing around. So I don't know where that came from. It's nothing that I saw, but this is what this shows. I'll make it bigger. So I don't know what they were looking at, but this definitely has 4 murder charges in the burglary, and it shows that he's in on J block or whatever. So I guess they probably took him out of like the holding area finally and like put him where he was assigned, because I had gotten another message from Vine. It was about like he was moved out of this Idaho Constitution into the same exact Idaho maximum security whatever thing. I was like, oh, okay, so he probably just like moved spots. This other thing I wanted to show you guys, like I'll put the link for this in. I don't know if y'all can hear those raindrops. They're pretty loud. My window is like, and then my other window is like, so it's pretty loud. Yeah, I think we had some hail earlier. Pretty sure we had some hail earlier today because I had like big things pinging off my windows and my air conditioning thing outside. I was like, okay. This is for like just the actual like conviction and commitment. Like it's just basically all the charges in document form. Like we've already pretty much seen it all. We know that there's restitution. We know what everything is. There's nothing additional in here. It doesn't give anything else. It's just like the final document for whatever this is. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get this open. Oh, and members, if you hadn't already noticed, it should show up by now. I did we're going to do our members only live, like our full members only live tomorrow at 5:00. So there should be a link for that already. Not that one. Okay. This first one is actually pretty good to start off with because as far as I can tell, just from like scanning the top of it, just to like get the screenshot, because I always take the first document for the batch and make that like the background of the thumbnail thingy that you guys see. That's why it says like Brett Payne with the date right there. I think this is one where somebody says something about like talking to Kohberger in the jail or something like that. So this is like like the second one. That's what I was telling my buddy earlier, because he's had like a lot of issues like from storm damage at his house. And so he hasn't like no clue what's been going on up until like a certain point. So I was like kind of catching him up with everything. And oh, I just heard my kid say something and it just completely made me lose my train of thought. I just lost my complete train of thought listening to my kid yell something at the TV. Okay, never mind. Let's just get on with the documents because I just completely lost everything that I was thinking about. And now there's the thunder. Okay. Brett Payne. 8/28/24. Inmate transport video review. On August 21st, 2024, I received an email from Deputy Prosecutor? Is that what they call it? Ashley Jennings, containing a link to the recent inmate transport wherein one inmate mentioned Kohberger. I accessed the secure link and watched the video. The male inmate, blank blank, was being transported to southern Idaho and was talking to a female inmate, blank blank. So they transport the women and the men together? I thought they separated all that. During their conversation, Blank stated he was housed in Max, which is maximum security, to which Blank replied, "Oh, you were in there with Kohberger." Blank stated he was. Blank asked, "How is he?" Blank stated, "An effing weirdo." That's funny. I mean, that's like not even like a bad thing to be called a weirdo. It's really just not. Blank continued to say if he wasn't worried about further legal repercussions, he would have physically assaulted him. Oh, somebody trying to act macho in front of a girl. Blank affirmed this statement and added he had pretty good judgment of people and that his Kohberger's eyes tell a story. This was the extent of the conversation with Kohberger. Remember what we said yesterday about his eyes? His sister's eyes are like very similar. Let me go ahead and find the picture of her coming out of court so you guys can see. And like, there's this one person that was like, "Oh, he's got serial killer eyes," and I'm like, "Bro, it's hereditary. What are you talking about? It's so rude." Let's see, where's it at? I might have to go to Twitter to find it. Like, I really just like don't save stuff, so I can't just like pull it up out of nowhere. Kohberger family. Like, people think that we're like I'm some sort of like psycho when it comes to this case. Nah, I don't even like have stuff saved to my computer to be for real. Bro, did it like scrub it from the internet? That's why it's not showing me anything about Kohberger family coming out of court. Kohberger family sentencing. Like, nothing is popping up. Okay, here it is. Finally, Jesus. Okay. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Gosh. Okay. Well, it's this one right here. I don't know if I can make it bigger. Can I make this bigger? Okay, anyway, you see how his eyes are like a little bit wide, right? And like everyone's always making comments. Okay, here's a good one. Okay, look. Yeah, here's a good one. Can I make this bigger? I really can't make this bigger because it's just not letting me. Okay. Like, look how similar they look. Like, their eyes are the same. They're the same kind of like openness. So whenever people say stuff about his eyes in like the James Patterson book, like all of the descriptions are like bulging eyes. I'm like, it's hereditary though to me, because look how similar his sister looks. And that's like in like all of the shots they have of her, like her eyes are like just super wide. Well, the Daily Mail, let me open this up bigger. Okay. Yeah. See, look. Like her eyes are just like wide open, just like his are. So I'm like, okay, is she like a serial killer? Because her eyes are the same. It's just crazy to me that they focus on that. Oh, look at the side eye Ann Taylor's giving the cameraman right here. I didn't notice that before. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. So whenever I see stuff like that, I'm like, damn, his sister. Like, how is she feeling? Knowing that people are saying that, and then like people are saying that about like her face when she comes out of court. That's just so crazy. I'd probably be like super pissed, honestly, if I were her. That's just crazy stuff. Okay. Based off the limited information conveyed by blank and the fact that he did not mention speaking to Kohberger about the homicides, there will be no further follow-up conducted with blank. Yeah, that sounds like a dude that was just trying to like mac on a chick that he can never touch because they're both in jail. That's all that sort of sounded like. Okay, here we go. Brett Payne, Pullman PD information. Okay. On Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, I received an additional email from KB, Public Records Officer for Pullman PD, stating they located additional communications referencing Kohberger. Oh, yeah. Remember the last one was like, oh, no, that was WSU. Okay, yeah. WSU was like, this is the last one for the 15th one. Okay, yeah. The email containing the secure link also stated the public records request was complete and would be closed once I access the information. Okay, so this will be the last one for Pullman PD. Okay. I accessed Pullman PD's public records database and downloaded the included files. Well, I'm glad it worked for you because it's not working for me today. These files appear to be almost entirely public records requests, yes, and media inquiries. Yes, okay. I got the damn page to load for me like for half a second. And the first time I tried to click on a link to get the first one downloaded, it froze and I never got the page to load back up. But they pretty much all looked like the request, like the same thing that we went through the last time where it was like Mike Baker and people for News Nation and Anjanette Levy and Bullhorn Betty and JLR and like all the people that were wanting information. A lot of it is that. So they're spending like all this time putting all of these records together for media requests. Nobody that's requesting information in this case gives a shit about who else is requesting information in this case. You know what we're asking for. So why are you wasting our time and your time to send us irrelevant bullshit that you know that we don't want? Yeah, they've already pulled that once. So I'm pretty positive like a majority of the information that they sent me is probably going to be more of those because that's what it looked like. So that's going to suck. But you know what? Honestly, it'll make it easier to get it all back up here since I have to redo the live one anyway because it had the Gmail addresses in it and they considered it like private info. So that's good, I guess. Okay, Brett Payne again, 9/16/24. On Monday, September 16th, 2024, I spoke to blank. Blank was an inmate at the Latah County Jail at the time and had been housed next to Kohberger since August of 2024 until Kohberger's transport to Ada County in September 15th of 2024. So about a month and a half, I guess, maybe like a month. I was made aware by Detective Vargas that blank spoke about Kohberger while on a phone call with his mother. So was she just like automatically monitoring or do they like automatically transcribe like inmate phone calls and then like Control F or like search keywords? Because why would you know that unless you had to like already go through the phone calls? I don't know how automatic that kind of thing is. I responded to the Latah County Jail and spoke to blank. That was loud. I began by asking blank what he thought of Kohberger having had to live next to him. Blank told me Kohberger was highly intelligent and polite for the most part. Blank told me Kohberger would often question him about his past criminal offenses and why he was in the maximum security wing of the jail. I asked blank what he thought of Kohberger's intelligence. Blank stated Kohberger was the smartest person he had encountered while in confinement. Blank told me Kohberger quickly became annoying because some of his habits. He told me Kohberger would wash his hands dozens of times each day and would spend 45 minutes to an hour in the shower. See, that's honestly kind of odd because I could have sworn that's like a time limit thing in jail. I've always been told that it's a time limit thing. I asked Blank if Kohberger slept at night. He told me Kohberger would be awake almost all night and would only take a nap during the day. Blank said he could hear Kohberger moving all around all night, which also annoyed Blank. I asked Blank if Kohberger ever lost his temper. He told me on one occasion Kohberger was video chatting with his mother, which Blank said he did for hours each day while Blank was watching sports. Blank said, "You suck," out of one of the players on the team, in which Kohberger immediately got up and put his face to the bars and aggressively asked if Blank was talking about him or his mom or his mother. Blank said this was the only time Kohberger lost his temper. Okay, so because he for some reason thought somebody was talking shit to his mom. I think that's maybe a little normal. I asked Blank if Kohberger had mentioned anything about the crimes he was charged with. Blank said Kohberger did not mention his alleged offenses at all. Blank also told me Kohberger was excited to move to Ada County. Excited to move to Ada County? Interesting. Blank stated he had served time in Ada County and noted he did not think Kohberger would like to be there. I thanked Blank for speaking with me and advised him to notify the Latell County detention deputies if he remembered anything else he wished to tell me. You know something I've been thinking? I don't know how far-fetched this is. Did he like maybe do this whole like plead thing to like stay in longer? Because maybe he did think that he was gonna. I don't know. Look, I don't know. My brain's kind of like everywhere. I feel like he's using this as like research, but he's not guilty. Like he's asking questions and he's doing research and talking to felons and murderers and people that are in there doing crazy stuff and asking them all kinds of crazy questions. And he's like excited to move to the next one. Why? Because you've got new research people? Like, what if he's just going along with it so that he could like get inside information because of how he's like studying stuff? Because this just look, there's no way that this dude is the one who did all of this. It's just like it honestly, it's getting to the point to where it's laughable. Like it's not funny. It's not funny at all. But this is a laughable situation at this point because they have nothing here. They have absolutely nothing here. They've got a guy that has a little bit of a like depressive mental history with visual snow that grades hard because he expects students to be at the same level that he expects himself to be, that doesn't like let the pretty girls get away with stuff. So it was a problem with the old professor who probably does. He's recommended by his female teachers. I just don't know what else to think here about what's happening. I don't know. So I don't know if he like is at this point sort of like playing the game in order to elongate what he wants to happen here because he knows at the end he's going to be exonerated anyway, so why not? Or what? But it's just he's constantly, it seems like constantly, and it does because everything we've seen so far, it's him asking questions, wanting to soak in information, which if you're autistic, you do hyper focus on whatever you're focused on. And if his focus has been criminology since he was a kid, you know, going from wanting to be a cop to what he's doing now, I mean, look what he did with the police officer. I feel like he was asking the police officer, does it change your thought process because I was honest with you? Does that matter to you at all that I didn't lie? I feel like that's kind of like what was going on with that traffic stop. And you know what's crazy too? Somebody commented this like right before we went live tonight. And did anyone else even pay attention to his freaking eyebrows? Like, did anyone at all even care to look at Kohberger's eyebrows in that damn Moscow video? Because I didn't. The dude that commented, it was like, look, he doesn't even have like bushy eyebrows. And I'm like, holy crap. I was so focused on how not weird the traffic stop was because of how they sealed it, made it sound like something was going to be in there. Like nothing was there. We were so focused on that. We didn't even notice he didn't even have bushy eyebrows. He has no bushness on his eyebrows. Couldn't see nothing hardly. Like you can see his face whenever it like gets into view of the camera, but his eyebrows are not out there. We were so like me especially. I was so focused on everything else. Like that's the first comment about the bushy eyebrows that I've gotten on that entire video. No, he does not have bushy eyebrows, Jesse. Literally at all. No bushness. None. Like, none. And then, like, there's still people on Twitter that are like, oh my God, he was out stalking the girls. I'm like, in cobalt blue? In cobalt blue, he's out stalking someone. Okay. Like, that's what's like, look, like, you can just stay mad for like so long, right? And I might be pissed off tomorrow and it might be laughing again the next day. You know, who knows? But right now, like, the more that I read stuff, I'm just like, are we for real? Like, we really are doing this right now? This is what we're doing? None of this is adding up. And granted, like, this is just the Moscow Police Department stuff, and they really didn't do a damn thing. Let's be so for real. Let's be so for real. But what? You've got all of this other crazy shit going on here. Y'all didn't do anything with anything. You still have no answers even after you've sentenced this man to spend the rest of his life in prison. And your big bad prosecutor can't answer a single question with an affirmative. That was loud. I saw a flash. This is like really crazy loud outside. Okay. Let me just go on and read because I could just continue. This case is so insane. I just, like, if we feel like this out here, like, I know that I have my issues with the way that the Goncalveses have done things. I have my issues with a lot of things. But just, like, being on the outside of this, it feels like this. So I honestly can't even imagine, like, how magnified it is, even for the people that I feel are hiding stuff. Just, like, you're in the middle of this. How you doing? Because this is wild. Okay, Brett Payne, 9/17/24. Instagram Indian Cliffs tip follow-up? What the frick does that mean? Okay, Monday, September 16th, 2024. I received an email tip from the Latell County Prosecutor's Office. The tip contained an image from an Instagram account titled blank. Real helpful, bro. Real helpful. Which was taken from the Indian Cliff area of Hebron State Park. The photo is looking east over the lake with trees and mixed terrain on the fore and midground. The person who sent the tip, not the person who posted the image, circled an area of the image and wrote they thought it was a white vehicle parked in the trees. Upon review, it did not appear to be a vehicle parked in the trees, and the image was blurry when zoomed in. I was able to locate the person who posted the image, RL. I called L and asked her if she was the owner of T blank. Oh, I guess it's supposed to say the blank Instagram account, and if she remembered posting the image. She affirmed both. I asked her if she remembered seeing any vehicle that struck her as being out of the ordinary. She told me she did not and thought she would certainly have noted a vehicle in the area circled in the tip as though there... What the frick? She would certainly have noticed a vehicle in the area circled in the tip as there is no realistic way a vehicle would get there. Okay, so then what's the white thing being circled if there's no way that something could like that could get up there? Is it just like a nothing? Trash? A mistake? I asked her what time she thought she took the photo. Elle told me it was approximately 1100 hours on 11/13/22. Okay. Elle reiterated there was nothing that struck her as being out of the ordinary on their hike or drive through the park. I thanked Elle for her time and ended our phone call. Okay. Is this a park like by the house? Like, I want to know why they feel like this is important. Okay, so this Hebron State Park is all the way up here, like north. It's like Potlatch and all that in Moscow is like way down here. So, okay, even if there was a white car parked by a tree all the freaking way up here at 11 o'clock in the morning on the 13th, what in the frick does that have to do with anything? The Indian Cliff area of Hayburn State Park. Okay, what does it matter if a car was parked there at 11 o'clock in the morning? What? Like, I'm reading that right? Somebody is crazy, and I don't think it's me. Okay, let's continue. 305. Brett Payne. A lot of these, like this one in the last batch is like Brett Payne. Okay, 11/14/24. On Monday, November 11th, 2024, I was notified via an email from Sergeant Gunderson that a woman named H had called Whitcomb with information relating to the case. We've heard this one before. Who is this? More specifically, she alleged she could exonerate Kohberger. H hung up with dispatch prior to them gathering further information. The call notes were as follows. I think the last time that they said that she had called in, or he was calling back or whatever, and he had tried to call her and somebody answered but didn't say anything and then hung up. I think that was this one. I think that's who this was. Caller is advising that she is trying to reach the attorney for Bryan Kohberger. She was a mandated reporter / victim advocate and is advising that she has information that would prove his innocence. She sent the attorney a letter on to reach someone that can confirm they are representing Kohberger. What? Okay, well, you can just literally look up Ann Taylor Law Office on Google. What you mean? So was she called 911 instead of like looking it up? Because everybody has the internet. I'm just saying. I called H when I returned on duty on November 14th, 2024. I advised her of who I was and asked if she could relate the information she claimed to have. H told me she sent a letter to Ann Taylor's office with the information and would not disclose what she knew to me. See, these kind of people, bro. These kind of freaking people. I advised her it was my obligation to learn of possible exculpatory evidence. She told me she had never met Kohberger or spoken to him, but she knew he was not the person who committed the murders. I attempted to explain why it was important for me to know of the information she had, but H would only tell me to do a FOIA request so you can learn my maiden name. She also stated if I did so, the FBI would immediately contact me. I asked her if she had contacted the FBI, to which she replied she had not, but they would know as soon as I searched her name. H then said she did not want any further involvement and hung up on me. Based off H's inability or unwillingness to offer any information to be substantiated or investigated further, there is no further avenue to proceed reference this call. What the frick? There is no further avenue to proceed reference this call. Okay, well, the way that they have that worded is absolutely stupid. So you're telling me that you're calling dispatch. You're calling basically 911 dispatch to say that you have information. So then whenever a police officer from the office where you freaking called actually calls you back, you then say, oh, I refuse to talk to you. What did you call them for? What did you call them for? This is actually not shocking. If y'all would see the emails that I get from people, bro. This is mild. This is she's a little cuckoo, but this is light. This is light. Okay. Brett Payne. Another Instagram follow-up tip. Okay. A little late to be following up on tips, I think. I mean, damn, we're in 12/9/24. What are we doing? On December 5th, 2024, I was made aware of a tip reported during this investigation. The tip contained a screenshot of a thread of comments on an Instagram post. The user blank had posted about progress pictures for weightlifting. A person by the name of blank posted a response that stated, "Why did you ixnay those kids?" To which blank responded by saying, "For fun." Why do I feel like I know what this is? I feel like I know, I feel like I've seen something about this. I searched this Instagram profile and could not locate the post in question nor the comments associated. I called S on Monday, December 9th, 2024, and asked him about the post. He said blank's account was not his S stated he only had one Instagram account under the username blank and he rarely used it. I was able to find this profile, which was private, and the profile photo appeared to more closely resemble S than the blank account. I asked S if he ever lifted weights or posted about it. He said he has never been much of a weightlifter and again stated blank account was not his. I thanked S for talking to me and ended our conversation. I feel like I saw this. I feel like I saw this. Okay. Brett Payne again. Park Ranger follow-up. Is this over at Wawaway or what? However you freaking say it? That's where it should be. Okay. On Monday, December 9th, 2024, I spoke to Park Ranger DM, the park ranger for blank. I asked him if he was the park ranger in 2022, and he said he was. I asked him what his normal routine was for the park. He told me he would check the park numerous times a day during the summer camping season, but the frequency of checking the park would decrease as the fall season proceeded and there were fewer visitors. I asked him if he remembered seeing anything suspicious surrounding the time of the homicides. M told me he lives on site at blank and did not remember anything out of the ordinary. He told me he would close the gate most nights, but not always, and he would not lock the gate. I asked him if he ever saw any suspicious vehicles, to include a white Elantra. M said he did not. M also told me he did not remember any suspicious people in the area either. I asked M if there was anything about the time of the homicides he thought I should know. He told me there was not. M stated there were no security cameras. There were not security cameras, and anything else he could think of would be helpful to the investigation. Okay, cool. So I bet you this is Wobbleway, or however you say it. So they're waiting until December 2024 to go out to the park and talk to the people that is where Brian's alibi apparently leads to, or what they're trying to say it leads to. They wait until then to even go talk to them. I mean, it could be another park, but that's the only park that we know of that's been talked about. Brett Payne again. Damn, you did a bunch of follow-up on stuff before you quit your job, didn't you? Or transferred to the university. I don't know how it freaking looks on his record. Okay. 12/10/24. MM follow-up. Interesting. Who is this? Okay. On Friday, December 2nd, 2024, MM came into MPD and requested to speak to me, reference a tip concerning the homicides. I spoke to M in the PD lobby. I did not record our conversation. M began by sliding me a note that asked if MPD was looking for a second person who could be responsible for the homicides. The note described a male, and the bottom of it said if MPD was not looking for another person, to slide the note back to M and she would leave. Huh? I mean, a good investigator is going to be like, no, let me see what you've got. Regardless of what we're thinking, let me see what you've got. I told M it was our duty to investigate tips that could result in exculpatory information. M reluctantly slid me another stack of handwritten letters. I read most of these letters and learned they concerned ZF. I guess this person is maybe related or is the partner of this M person. Just who knows? The letter described how F had lived near 1122 King Road approximately 6 months prior to the homicides and had made comments to M about how the parties kept him up at night. M also wrote F had behaved strangely after the homicides and had injuries on his hands. The rest of the letters concerned F's other behavior and suspected hacking activities, according to M. M also stated she gave consent for her DNA kits she submitted in reference to a past unrelated report from August of 2022 to be used. Would that be an R? Because I don't know if any other kit a woman would have DNA for. Which if you're in here like saying that somebody that you know has done something, but then you've got a kit with something like that and it what? Like this almost feels like she's saying use the DNA from my R kit against the knife sheath DNA or against the DNA at the scene. That's almost what this sounds like. In talking with M, I learned F's strange behavior, not talking to M for extended periods of time, showing her memes of strange times, riding his scooter to Pullman, have been ongoing for several years prior to the homicides. M seemed concerned that F had psychotic tendencies and made her nervous all the time. M stated F wore gloves almost always and had wounds on his hands and face on more than one occasion, which he stated were from scooter crashes. Aside from the fact F lived near 1122 King Road, I later confirmed he lived at blank until June of 2022, so right before Kaylee moved, or like right around the same time, and behaved strangely. M did not have further reason to suspect blank's behavior, blank as being involved. She was mostly concerned about his ongoing strange behavior. I told M if his behavior ever made her fear for her life to call 911. She said she would do so. I thanked M for her time and she left the letters with me, which I have attached to the case. Based off M's statement and lack of corroboration for F being involved in this crime, I will not be investigating further. Was this like a woman trying to like get help for a DV situation and Payne was like, call 911? Is that what just happened here? Because I'm really confused. I mean, I'm not confused. I see that like, I see what this woman is doing, but not at the same time. Because this is strange. Like, this is super strange. Yeah, whoever this is, it's, I mean, they call them by their last names. So it's like their first name is long and their last name is short. Okay. 309 TS, because we're never allowed. Oh, I've been waiting on this one. This one's about the evidence refrigerator. I've been waiting to read this bad boy. Which one is this? 203? Yeah, I'll go back on the video and get it later. Okay. Technical errors, reports not being written for a year and a half, 2 years. So, just like, any witness accounts, those reports aren't accurate, right? Because, their cameras are never on and nothing gets actually recorded. So how the frick do they actually know what to write on these reports 2 years later? So now we have all of that, the technical errors, the wiped computers at MPD that were being used by ISP and by the feds during this investigation. And now we have problems. Oh, and the social media errors, the ones where Facebook and Instagram were messing up people's comments that were showing up wrong and like all kinds of stuff, right? So we've had technical errors in several different like sections of this case. And now comes the refrigerator. And never mind, remember the damn lab that caught fire whenever they stored like some lithium batteried bikes or whatever? I really have been curious as to if anything that was like from inside King Road was in that whenever it like caught fire. But I don't think we ever found out. So probably not. But that was like what got burned. And instead of us having to worry about what got burned, we have to worry about like what wasn't kept cold enough because the fridge apparently gave out. The whole fridge I'm seeing. Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go. Whoever TS is, we've seen that initial 1,000 times. 13025. Wow! Right after Payne's testimony about how they had a whole other freaking ass lead suspect before they had Bryan, and then they got the freaking phone call from the feds, and they shelved that lead suspect and never looked back at it again. That's whenever this happened. Right after we found that out, that's in the closed transcripts. I'm not making nothing up. It's all very public. Go read it yourself. That's what he said. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. On Friday, June 24th at approximately 0750 hours, so 7:50 in the morning, I arrived at the Moscow Police Department to start my shift. When I reached my door, I could hear an electronic beeping noise. Upon entering, I determined the noise was an alarm sounding from the evidence refrigerator unit. The digital temperature display read 60 degrees Fahrenheit. When I left for work the day before, Thursday, January 23rd, at 1200 hours, so he gets to leave at noon, there was no alarm sounding. Well, probably not, bro, or you probably wouldn't have left. The evidence freezer, which is a separate unit, was not affected. I immediately contacted my supervisor, Captain Hathaway. Captain Hathaway recommended I transfer the items stored in this refrigerator to our secure outbuilding where other evidence is kept due to the lower temperatures outside. Okay. I turned off the heating units inside this storage area and opened the large garage door to allow the inside temperatures to drop quickly. The outside temperature was freezing that morning, and within 10 minutes, the inside temperature dropped below 50 degrees, which is the lowest number on the thermostat. All items were transferred by 0800. So you did all this in 10 minutes? You got there in 10 minutes? You got there at 7:50. Heard the noise, found out what was going on, contacted your captain, and then waited a whole 10 minutes for everything to drop down. And then you're still saying you did everything in 10 minutes. You probably should have rethought that one. Okay. Because that doesn't really add up. At approximately 12:30 hours on the same day, Captain Hathaway brought a new 20 cubic feet refrigerator to the outbuilding, which he plugged in and set the temperature. An hour or so later, I checked the temperature of this refrigerator. The thermostat read 40 degrees. I transferred all of the items to this refrigerator where they will be temporarily stored until the primary refrigerator unit is repaired. No DNA extracts were stored in the evidence refrigerator. Those are stored in the evidence freezer. Below is a list of the items affected that were being stored in the evidence refrigerator. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Holy shit. Stuff from their autopsies? Okay, so we have a whole other list. I'll have to go in another video. I'm pretty sure those are all on there. So I'll go in that original document and see the numbers and compare it. But this is from the autopsy. The majority of this is from the autopsies. Wow. This is all. Whose swab is this? Stain swabs from inside the house. There's the cigarette butts. Those are the cigarette butts. Remember, they were surveilling somebody enough to be able to get cigarette butts and test them for DNA? What are these for? Oh, these are DNA swabs from other people that they swabbed. Other DNA, other evidence, hair tissues, multiple hairs, lint and hair band-aids, straw earplugs, lollipop sticks, nail clippers, used napkins, flossers, used Q-tips, straw flossers, popsicle sticks, lollipop sticks, animal hair, shower hair, drain hair, computer hair, pillow hair, counter swab, pillow swab, PSP suspect swab. Oh, I guess that's Pennsylvania State Police. But then they have Kohberger's right here. So what's this one? What? Pedal swab? Even the stuff from inside the car? What? What? Unbelievable. And why do we have these? There's more swabs of people's cheeks being taken after Kohberger's too. Wow. Wow. This is literally everything from the Moscow case. I'm pretty sure that this stuff down here when it comes to oh, where is it at? This right here, this pillow hair, this kind of stuff. That's probably Pennsylvania trash, the trash that came from Pennsylvania for them to pull stuff from. Because see the Q-tips, flossers, it's the bathroom trash. And see, it says no DNA extracts were stored in this evidence container because those are in the freezer, but there's still blood swabs. There's still blood cards, blood samples. There's still DNA in every bit of this. I just don't understand how, okay, so if he left at noon, then that's like what, 30, 20 hours? He gets started almost 8 o'clock. From noon to midnight, that's 12, and then 8 o'clock. Yeah, so that's like 20 hours. There's no like security that walks around. There's no alarm that would pop up on his phone. I'd love to know like how long it was down. So I don't know. Let's see. I guess this all depends on how cold it was supposed to stay. Because it says that the inside of it only read it was 60 degrees. And it looks like he made it get down to like 40 before he transferred everything back. But 20 degrees could do something. Just depends on like what they did to everything. But honestly, maybe not. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to like trust stuff because of all the transference and moving around. But I don't feel like 20 degrees would be enough to like destroy anything. That's still just crazy. Like every damn thing that was taken in this case was just in this refrigerator. Like what? That's a big list. I guess it just really all depends on like if they had any chemical interactions already or anything. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like a big deal, like as I thought it would be, I guess. So I don't guess it's all compromised if it's only 20 degrees and it stayed cold. But I guess the question would be like, why the frick was it not working? Like, was it just like not working, or did somebody like not seal it right? I guess they had to replace it though. I guess it would be fine. I don't know. I guess it would probably be okay, but I just don't trust it. Like literally at all. Okay, 4/4/25. So this one was literally 3 months ago. That's crazy. Okay. Vitamin supplement seized from Kohberger's vehicle. They sure are on about these vitamins. Okay. On April 3rd, 2025, I assisted TS and the prosecution team with reviewing the evidence in this case. A question was brought up if a Mandian vegan D3K2 supplement vitamin supplement bottle, which has been seen in several photographs, had been booked into evidence, and S stated it had not. So then the only one that was booked into evidence was the one that ISP bought from Kohberger's account? Because they said in that one document where they talked about buying everything that they also bought that damn vitamin and they put it in there. S checked with Detective Payne and was informed the vitamin bottle was still located in the trunk of Kohberger's white Elantra. What? I broke the evidence seal on the driver's side door of the Elantra and opened the trunk with the release lever, also breaking the evidence seal on the trunk. I located the Amandian D3K2 vitamin bottle in the trunk in a plastic Ziploc baggie. I collected the bottle out of the trunk, counted the soft gel capsules in the bottle, 22 out of 120, and booked the bottle into MPD evidence. I placed new evidence seals on the driver's side door and trunk of the vehicle. I took photos of the seals and of the bottle and copied the photos to a DVD and booked the DVD into MPD evidence. And then it just says what it is. Okay. Okay. Interesting. 5/29/25. Transfer of JD fingerprints. I can imagine that's Jack Jacor. On May 29th, 2025, Idaho State Patrol Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson called and advised that JD was scheduled to provide fingerprints at the ISP lab in Coeur d'Alene at 1300 hours. Why? On May 29th, 2025, just 2 months ago, was Jack Jacor, most likely Jack Jacor, going in and giving fingerprints. Lieutenant Gilbertson requested that I respond to the ISP lab at the time and take custody of the fingerprints so that they could be booked into evidence at the Moscow Police Department and then be sent to the ISP lab in Boise. I responded to the ISP lab and met with ISP staff and observed Jay provide the requested prints. The prints were sealed in an ISP envelope by ISP staff and provided to me. The chain of custody was filled out on the envelope and sealed with evidence tape. I transported the envelope immediately back to the Moscow Police Department where it was secured in an evidence transfer locker. Why is Jack Ducour having to go and do his fingerprints in May 2025? This was 2 months ago, guys. Yeah. This was 2 freaking months ago. That's weird. That's weird. Okay. Dustin Blaker. Interview with EA. Okay, this is like Emily again? Or maybe not. No, this is maybe somebody different. Oh my God, there's too many initials. Okay. This is 6/2/25. This also just happened. This just happened. On May 22nd, 2025, I received an email from prosecutor Bill Thompson with a request for contact from an LA. L wanted to report her daughter EA and one of her friends AN saw photos of them on Dateline from the latest special in reference to the Moscow murders. Huh? I'm not understanding what the frick you mean. Okay. I contacted Elle on May 22nd, 2025, and she responded and stated she would be available on May 23rd, 2025, but I was not able to contact her on that date. On May 29th, 2025, I called Elle and spoke to her by phone. Elle told me her daughter E watched the Dateline special, and when they were talking about photos of WSU students on Bryan Kohberger's phone, E was able to identify several of the photos of her and one of her friends, A, as being photos reported to have been found on Kohberger's phone. I asked Elle if I could talk to E, and she provided E her phone. E told me the following. E was a student at WSU in the fall of 2022 and was in a class with Kohberger, where Kohberger was a TA. E was in a class with her friend A. A was interviewed by ISP detective Jacob Schweck on March 2nd, 2023. E told me she had never talked to Kohberger during the class, but he did sit in close proximity to her on the rare occasions he would attend class. E told me she thought Kohberger was socially awkward, but was not able to provide me any other information about him. I asked E how she knew the photos were of her and A. E told me she watched the Dateline special, the Dateline episode, and she was able to tell the photos which she believed had been taken off of her Instagram account. E told me during 2022 her account was public, and this was possibly how Kohberger found her photos. E was not able to provide me any other information related to this case. But which photo was it? Which photos was it? I mean, honestly, if you're in a photo, like if you know a photo, even if it's blurry, you're going to know if it's your photo. You know what I mean? What I really want to know is if the photos that they showed were actually photos that were found on his phone, or if Dateline themselves went to, find WSU students to have like pictures in the background of, or maybe it's not even her photo, because we really don't know like what Dateline was given for them to have been given stuff specifically like screenshots of things that he had on his phone. Someone's hella leaking. But I mean, they gave him video, so maybe they are hella leaking. I wish it would describe like which one it was. It was like just a brief like few seconds where they showed like 5 or 6 photos. But see, in the Dateline episode, during one of the photos coming up where it was like real blurry, it was like 2 blondes. And in the Dateline episode, they try to make it sound as if that was like a picture of like one of the victims, the way that they were wording things at the time. But then now we have the interview that the 2 cops did, and they're like, no, he had no photos of them on his phone. None of the victim stuff was on his phone. Other stuff, like, I guess maybe this girl's picture. I just wish it explained which one it was. Like, what colors were they wearing? You know, he didn't even like ask her that to like confirm anything. So I don't know. Okay. Danny Vargas, 6/27/25. Additional Amazon purchases located in Kohberger's vehicle. So he just shops from Amazon apparently like all the time, I guess. On June 26, 2025. Holy crap. That's a month ago. That's like 4 days, 5 days before he signed that paper. 4 days before we heard about the plea agreement. Holy shit. What? Okay. I searched through Kohberger's vehicle looking for the following items, which were on his Amazon purchase history, ordered on 6/20/22, so June 20th. I previously looked up all the items ordered and had a photo of what the products looked like. Lead brand scissor jack, 1.5 ton, capacity ratchet handle, saving strength design. We saw that one in another document. EP Auto 14-inch heavy-duty universal lug wrench, 4-way cross wrench. Dorman 926021 spare tire for select Hyundai Kia models. So he had stuff for a flat tire. Worksite tire inflator, air compressor portable, 20-volt cordless tire pump, 150 PSI with digital pressure gauge, rechargeable Li-ion battery, and 12-volt car power adapter. Orkish 70-piece tire repair kit, heavy duty tire plug kit, flat tire repair kit, tire patch kit, puncture kit, Cartman warning triangle. So he had preparedness. He was prepared. Like I said the other day, he's way more prepared than me. And I got kids in my car. I'm way more prepared. He's way more prepared. TS MPD evidence technician unlocked the secured garage where Kohberger's Hyundai Elantra was being stored. I took photos of the vehicle and the intact evidence seals prior to entering the vehicle. I opened the driver's side door and opened the trunk using the trunk release lever, breaking both the driver's side door and trunk evidence seals. I took photos of the trunk and the items in the trunk. I removed all of the items from inside the trunk. This reads like a first grade book. It's crazy. I located the following items in the trunk, which matched the Amazon purchase items, and took photos of them. The no brand 70-piece tire repair kit, Cartman warning triangles. Yeah, just describing it. The scissor jack. I located a brand new spare tire in the trunk, which did not have a brand name on it. There was a barcode sticker on the back of the rim with the product number 926016. I searched the internet for this item number and was directed to partsgeek.com, Dorman spare tire for 2011 to 2017 Hyundai Accent. I searched the internet for Dorman 926021 spare tire for 2011-2019 Hyundai Elantra and located a photo of the product on partsgeek.com. Both 926016 and 021 photos from partsgeek.com were identical to the spare tire located in the trunk. I took multiple photos of the spare tire and left it in the trunk. I did not find the following items in the trunk: the 3,307-pound capacity ratchet handle saving strength design purchased with the scissor jack, or the 14-inch heavy-duty universal lug wrench. Worksite tire inflator compressor was not in there. I placed all of the items I had removed from the trunk with the exception of the scissor jack, Cartman warning triangles, and the tire repair kit back into the trunk of Kohberger's car. I closed the trunk and driver's side door and placed signed evidence seals on both. I took photos of the vehicle and the evidence seals. I booked the items removed from Kohberger's trunk into MPD evidence. S and I looked through the evidence, which had already been removed from Kohberger's vehicle when first searched in Pennsylvania, and located the following. Okay, so they'd already had the things that she couldn't find then. Because here's the scissor jack, or this is a thing that was purchased with the scissor jack. And then here's the lug wrench thing. Okay. I opened item 23M0207 looking for one of the above items and did not locate either. I resealed the item. Oh, wait a minute. What? What? Blank and I looked through the evidence and located the following. Okay. I opened this number looking for one of the above items, which is these two items that you just said that you just found. This is worded horribly. Looking for one of the above items that you literally just said you located the following, and that's like in the middle, bro. It's the following and the above, so it can't be I found it and then I couldn't find it. I just know that this is like a different number, but what are they talking about with this? Somebody else needs to be writing the reports. That's all I'm going to say. The one Amazon purchased item, which was not located in Kohberger's vehicle, was the worksite tire inflator air compressor portable 20-volt cordless tire pump, 150 psi. Okay, so whenever she said the above items, she meant all the way up here. Paragraphs up before she found the other stuff. That's what she meant. Okay. I downloaded all of the photos taken at the time, taken of the items, copied them to a DVD, and booked the DVD into MPD evidence. Why are they just now doing this in June? Like, this seems to be like stuff that should have been done like the second the car got back. And it should have just been like stored and put away. And like, why are we doing all this back and forth? I don't understand. So late. Okay. This is the last one. This is the last one. Danny Vargas, 7/9/25. Agency reports and video collection. On June 26, 2025, I reached out to Pullman PD records technician RR and requested any reports, charging documents, and all recordings involving M blank M, date of birth something 1980, from June 1st, 2022 through May 30th, 2025. I informed R I had located the following reports involving M and Spillman related to PPD. Is this the frickin' DoorDasher? R responded and provided me with a link to GovQA where I downloaded all of the reports, body cam video, and other recordings provided. I reviewed the body camera footage from DR blank blank. In the following video, Axon Flex 2, 9/4/2024. It is the DoorDash driver. Oh my God. They even have it in here that it says, like, I saw Bryan there parked right next to him. Bro, you cannot hear that. You cannot hear that, okay? Especially since the report just said that the car apparently like pulled up behind her at the King Road parking lot, but she's not reporting seeing the car. She only can see a tan SUV with a blonde red guy in it. So, okay. Okay. At approximately 8:30 minutes into the video, Molly talks about having to testify in the upcoming murder trial involving the 4 college girls because she is the DoorDash driver. Molly's voice is muffled, and it sounds like she says, I saw Bryan there, parked right next to him. Bro, I tried to hear that after Plunder put that damn video out, and I could not hear it for the life of me. I tried to hear it. I tried to hear it several times. I tried to talk myself into hearing it and did not hear it. Not even like any of the closed captions was picking that up whenever anything would play. And now we also have the report to where she's watching somebody in the window, like hide from being seen from her, but she's not reporting ever seeing a white car. Literally ever. Moscow PD. On June 26, 2025, I contacted MPD Property Records Coordinator MA and requested any reports, charging documents, and all records involving MMM. So her middle name really is Marie. Okay, 1980, from June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2025. I informed A I had located the following reports involving M and Spillman related to MPD. No recorder. What? Blank replied and provided me with the 2 reports. Okay, so she's only been pulled over in Moscow twice. No recordings were provided for the reports. Whitman County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so for Pullman, there was 1, 2, 3. For Moscow, there was 2. And now we're going to Whitman County where it's pulling up 4. I feel like they're probably the same because they use the same 911, but I could be wrong. Oh my God. Okay. On June 26, 2025, I contacted Whitman County SO Records Technician SM and requested any reports, charging documents, and all recordings involving MMM, date of birth 1980, from June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2025. I informed M I had located the following reports involving M and Spillman, 2 different M's, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. M responded and provided me with copies of the 4 reports. No recordings were provided for the reports. I downloaded all of the reports and recordings provided by the 3 agencies and copied them to several DVDs. All of the reports were copied onto DVD number 1. The videos provided by PPD were divided amongst 3 DVDs due to their size. The video described above where she said something is copied onto DVD number 3, labeled PPD Axon Video, M. McMichaels 9/4/2024. I booked the DVDs into MPD evidence. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. See, and that's why this is like even sketchier. This report was written 7/9/25. So just 21 days ago. And I told y'all it was really funny how none of this bullshit was happening until after we saw that body cam video of her getting pulled over and telling Brett Payne, I'm friends with Bill Thompson. And then all of a sudden, everything went to hell. So that's interesting. Thank you for the $2, Elise. Thoughts on the threat KG got during court? That kind of shit's stupid and immature and childish. Hopefully they track the guy down because that kind of shit ain't cute. I highly doubt they're going to. Sadly. But that's pathetic. That's odd. Like, I understand like why people would be upset about what was said. I didn't like the way that they came about saying things. It was immature. It was vulgar. It was grotesque. It was disgusting. Okay. These are people that walk around in, you know, God hats and God shirts and crosses and, oh God, this and Christian this and, oh my God, this. Okay. Poor taste, you know, but sending somebody a threat like that, keep it in your head, bro. That's just really immature and childish. Like, let's not match that energy. You know, let's be better because that was stupid. Thank you for the $4.99. I've got something to say, Princess of Wales. I think MM was freaking out because they were going to make her say that she saw him when her original report says that she didn't. I mean, I don't even know what to think anymore because I did not look. I did not hear that. Okay, let's do it right here. Put a 1 in the chat if whenever you watched the video of Molly, you heard her actually say something about seeing him and parking there. Not after you heard someone else say it, but you honestly did hear that. Like, if you did, that's fine. Put a 1 in the chat if you actually did. Put a 2 if you did not hear that. I didn't hear that. You did hear it at first. I tried to hear it, bro. Like, I didn't hear it at first. And then I like the comments. I heard something in the comments and I was like, I read something in the comments. I was like, okay, let me go back and re-listen. And I tried, bro. I tried to hear it because I'm like, what have we been doing? We've been trying to find a damn something, right? And now here we have finally, after all this time, he tried multiple times. After all of these years, we finally had validation on who the damn DoorDash person was. So I'm trying to latch on to anything that's going to make this make sense, right? So the second they're like, holy shit, she said da-da-da-da, I'm like, no way. Could this finally be like the one piece that's going to start making any of this make sense? The contrary. The second we knew who the DoorDasher was, everything went more stupid. Parked right next to him. You did hear it. But see, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. That's what I heard. I heard her say something about how she was like with her by herself or something like that. Yeah, that part right there, though. The document, it says, whenever they interviewed her, she's only talking about the tan SUV. Oh, damn. I wish I had it, like, written down in front of me. We'd, like, pop it up again, like, just for the wording. I don't have it in front of me. It's on my notebook. Because it says, like, she pulls into the parking lot of King Road. And then it literally says that the white car pulls in behind her. But she doesn't see it? So you're telling me that the camera that's 50 feet away from Xana's window is apparently picking up this, so say, white car pulling in behind Molly while she's supposed to be getting out of her car, now apparently dropping the food off at the front door of 1122 and then getting back in her car. But she doesn't see that somebody's right behind her. That would have taken all of 20 freaking seconds to get out of the vehicle in the parking area, walk it to the door, take the picture or do whatever the frick you're supposed to do, and then walk back to your vehicle. She'd have heard it crunching in the parking lot, the tires, another vehicle behind her. And if that's the truth, then how come they never said they had his car on camera in the parking lot of King Road? Why did they never say that? Even now, Judge Hippler said, present what you were going to present at trial. Dude never said a damn word about the DoorDasher seeing anything. Thompson could have said something right then and there. He would have said, at trial, we would have presented an eyewitness of the DoorDash driver, the DoorDash order that everyone knows has been a big conversation in this case. That's proof of life for Xana, blah, 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 blah. He could have said whatever. He didn't even introduce it. And Hippler, to this day, Dylan's the only one that ever saw him. Dylan's the only one that ever saw him. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that part right there. Now they want to be like, oh, he pulled in the parking lot, like right behind her. I'm sorry? Since when? Because this whole time, y'all have never mentioned once where y'all actually think that he parked. Up until this hearing where you're like, oh, he parked up in the hillside. When the frick did that ever happen? When did that happen? Because this entire time you acted like you didn't even know. You said no cameras captured him parking. Nothing captured him going inside the house. Nothing captured him leaving the house. So you're going to sit here and try to tell me that you've got footprints in the snow going this way and that way, that you have handprints in a window like somebody's looking outside of the window while something else is going on. We have the original reports that was going around with Greek Row that Bethany saw a guy in black crossing the original parking lot area. And you're trying to tell me your suspect isn't on camera anywhere, but you're going to try to make me believe all this other bullshit? I'm sorry. No. I just don't understand, like, how did we get where we are? And the cop car, too. Like, it could have literally been, like, who even freaking knows? I really do feel it was probably the cop car. Look, I have videos from the very beginning of this, whenever the PCA came out. It's like a 3-part series that car never stopped. Like, the way that the PCA itself, like, lays out everything as that car is doing, like, 3-point turns and all this other bullshit, there's noises and stuff going on inside of King Road. So there's like no way in hell that if there is some sort of car involved in this or whatever, and they're trying to claim that that's the car that comes and goes, that car didn't stop driving. That car did not park. So if there is a car involved, it's a getaway vehicle. It's something else. I was talking to my buddy earlier about the Molly thing because of the dog all of a sudden. And I've thought, like, okay, so now you're like sitting in the area of King Road for a hell of a lot longer. You're a DoorDasher. You're supposed to be like on the app, right? Because we have the receipt. We have the receipt from like Ethan's account showing 3:59 of the food being delivered. It has the coordinates for where the food got dropped off, right? Or where it was supposed to have been dropped off. Now, all of a sudden, in the report for her, it's talking about how she had her dog. And I just keep thinking back to all the weird shit with Murphy and how he was barking outside for 30 minutes after SV1 left. So are we really going to believe that Molly had her dog with her? I don't know if I want to believe that. Or is that just like something she had to say because she might be seen with a dog on a camera somewhere, or somebody might have seen her with a dog, and maybe that dog was Murphy. And maybe that's why Murphy was like missing from like 2:30 onto like who knows what time, because somebody had been grooming that dog for a while to get him used to them. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this person with some really sketchy behavior hanging out, DoorDash app can't find the house, but you're not calling the person who's making the order. You're not texting them. Instead, you're peeping Tomming out of their freaking house, the house that you say that you can't find. You're parked in front of it for over 15 minutes. What? None of that makes any sense. So it just really makes me wonder, did you have Murphy, broski? And like you were told to like hold on to Murphy up until like a certain point, and then you let him go before you left the neighborhood, and that's why he was barking outside for like ever, because he was just like let go to go run back home? Because who even knows at this point? Like, why are you mentioning your dog all of a sudden? And how did we go from a tan SUV with like a blondish, reddish haired guy in it to now it's straight up Bryan Kohberger? And how did we go from this person that I swear that I saw like look me straight into my eyeballs to, oh, the guy that was driving the tan SUV was so zoned out he didn't even notice me. That's a completely opposite statement. How did we get here? How did we get here? And that too, who the frick let Murphy back inside? Because according to everything, the testing shows that at some point, I don't know if it's exactly 4:45. I feel like it was closer to 5 o'clock, because a lot of the residents off of Walenta in these reports were reporting hearing the dog outside up until like 5 a.m. And if the car left at like 4:20-ish, it'd be like 4:45-ish up to 5, like in that period or whatever. Yeah, but still like a long time, like at least 30 minutes, at least 30-ish minutes after SV1 left. So we're supposed to believe that Dylan and Bethany were just down there, didn't come out, didn't look around, didn't wonder, maybe I should go check on Xana. I saw her lying on the damn ground and there's a bunch of crazy shit going on in the house and it shows that she's here, but nobody's answering anything. So I don't understand how we are the only people like with brains out here asking questions. And there's so many people with mainstream and so many people actually involved that are just like brushing all of this aside. I could never. Did you see the interview with the photos? There is a picture of a dog kennel in Kaylee's room. No, I did not. What interview? What inventory of the photos? Inventory of photos. I haven't seen anything like that. Is it on Idaho Statesman, I'm guessing? I've been trying to like clip stuff all day. Did you read the doc where they had someone else arrested as suspect 1? They left all these docs with no resolution. What happened to suspect 1? I didn't see anything that they had arrested somebody that was considered suspect 1. I know that they talked about following suspect 1 and that they had surveilled somebody to do something with a cigarette butt and that they were dealing with suspect 1 up until they got the Fed call, but I didn't see that they'd actually arrested somebody. Is she? That's cool. No, it was never a naked guy. It was a guy in all black. Like there's a channel. Oh, what is the name of this channel? I think it's called What's the Obsession. Take that however you want to take that one. But she talked to a lot of the like sorority and frat people in the very beginning. And that was the story that stayed consistent was that it was a person wearing like all black clothes. Because whenever the thing came out about a naked guy and clothes in a bag and stuff like that, like we had to go back and listen to that stuff. And there was like a couple other reports of the same thing. Like there was never anything about a naked guy that they came out and talked about, but that doesn't mean that wasn't the original story and some shit changed, because we all know that like a bunch of shit changed. It's the document number 4 in the MPD files, I believe. The crime scene photographer lists the 200 or so pictures he took, including a kennel in Kaylee's room. Really? I remember we went over the report where I was upset that they said that they didn't take any pictures of the dog, that they just took photos of the room, and like the dog was sort of like in the background of the photos. I don't remember seeing anything about a kennel with that. Let me open this one back up. Are you like, you're meaning like supplemental number 4, right? Because I'm about to pop that one open. Yeah, Steve always said that it was in the car, but that doesn't mean it's true. It is. Okay. Oh, you right. You right. Why did we not read all of that? Okay, we're going to look at it. Yeah, if it says there's a kennel in there, that'll be kind of interesting, I guess, because He did say that there was a whatchamacallit, a kennel in the back of the Range Rover. And that her purse was also in the Range Rover. Huh. Okay. I feel like we did go over this, but maybe I didn't like read through all of them because it was a lot. Okay, well, let's look at this then. This was Ryan Snyder. Did I skip this one? I'm gonna have to go back on that first video and look because something about this feels different. Because this would have been right after Nunez. Because Nunez was number 3. And that was like the one that we really were like, see, this is number 3. This is Mitch Nunez. This is first responder. First responder. Did I skip this one? No, we read this one because this is about one of the residents saying that she was walking home from the corner club around 3 o'clock and she thought she heard music coming from King Road. Okay, so we just didn't go through the whole list, maybe. This is a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is the photos that were taken around the whole house and like the descriptions about what they are. So let's see. This is the car, WA and stuff like that. They're taking pictures from inside the car too. Okay. Key on retaining wall north of 1122 parking lot. 1122 front of address, 1122 front of address east side, and then front of address west side, 1122 parking lot, the black Ford Explorer, the parking lot again, the parking lot in northwest corner, parking lot in west side yard, front of address, front of address, front of address, you know, the one that Molly says that she couldn't see in the dark, even though she was parked outside the house for 15 minutes, back seat of blank with Washington tags. Why are we not allowed to see the back seat of what? Why are we not allowed to see right here, but right here we can see that they're taking like pictures of the red Jeep or like the black Ford Explorer, but then like back seat of what? Like they block it out. That doesn't make honestly any sense. Driver's side, back seat, front seat, VIN of whatever vehicle it was, I guess the red Jeep. 112212 corner of house, 1122 east side yard, front of blank vehicle, 1122 vehicle white Chevy Cruze. And then they block it out. That's so stupid. Range Rover back, but they don't block out back seat of Range Rover right here or front seat, but they do it for the rest of the vehicles. Okay. 1122 Honda Civic, front seat, back seat, VIN number, front seat passenger, west yard. Okay, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I want to see like the stuff they took pictures of, because this is just like west side bathroom, west side bedroom, east side bedroom. There's no real descriptions. Second floor living room, second floor facing towards west bedroom. Living room towards stairs to level 3. Kitchen knife on beer pong table. Like that kind of shit. That kind of shit. Kitchen knife on beer pong table. Second floor west bedroom, female victim. So some of these are going to have like, yeah, okay. So here's more. This would be Xana. Blood on floor. The closet, and then her again. Ethan. Foot of bed, male victim, female victim, bedroom table. Bedroom, female, University of Idaho ID card. Living room, pong table with blood, and living room, pong table with knife. Okay, broski. The same pong table that Hunter Johnson put the knife on, there's also blood where that knife is? Or is that blood from... See, this is where I'm a little bit confused about this part of it, because one of the reports said that one of the girls walking up the stairs coming from the bottom up to the second floor saw a knife on the ground, like at the top of the stair where the second floor starts, right? There's also, in that same report, it says something about a black backpack, and I think it's at like the top of the third stairs. So then we have that black backpack outside that sat outside for like days before anybody did anything with it. If they did anything with it, that's like around those footprints that were outside. So I don't understand how we're supposed to believe that Hunter Johnson just went in there and like grabbed a knife from the kitchen, but there's also a knife on the floor. But now we have a knife on the ping pong table, the same ping pong table that Bethany said that she heard moving around like in a scuffle after the firecracker and heard the tables, the cups falling everywhere. That ping pong table is the same ping pong table that we're being told that Hunter Johnson put the knife down on. That ping pong table also has blood on it. I'm sorry. That's sketchy as shit. That is sketchy as shit. Okay. That's insane. Living room, pong table, blood. Second floor to third floor stairs. And then the bedrooms, the rear bedroom on the second floor, which would be Dylan's room, because there's just 2 rooms on the second floor. Stairwell to the third floor. Kitchen from living room. Utility closet under stairwell. Kitchen sink. Kitchen table, stove, counter, table 2. Ajar sliding glass door to kitchen. And remember, now they're saying it was open when they got there. Kitchen patio. Ground outside kitchen window. Kitchen window handprints. Kitchen window left handprint. So now he's outside. And there's handprints and a face mark up against the kitchen window from the outside. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we figured the first time. Kitchen window screen. Stairwell to third floor. Third floor landing. West bedroom bed. West bedroom desk. There it is. West bedroom dog kennel. West bedroom foot of bed. He said it was in her Range Rover. And they said the dog was just basically running around. See, the dog could have been put in the kennel until the 911 call was made. Because somebody let that dog in the house. And I know that like some people are like, oh, it's not abnormal for the dog not to. I think it is. I think that if the dog was outside and then the dog came in the house, the first thing the dog would do would go to find its master, which would be Kaylee. And maybe it wouldn't like realize it right away, or maybe it would have, but that's like natural. So I don't know about him not like going around. I feel like something else is going on with that damn dog. Southeast, this is now Maddie's bedroom. Door had blood cast off. There's 2 different spots. And then they have the 2 victims on the bed. And then they took pictures of above the bed. There was like even above like Xana too. Pictures of them 2 again. More and more of them. North wall cast off. And then the desk, the west wall. Then we have like the Subaru, the Chevy, the Subaru. I'm not seeing anything like inside of those really. These are just cars like on the street, I guess. A Hyundai, a Dodge, a Volvo, a Ford, a Buick, a Toyota, a Jeep, a Subaru. Parked on King Road. Blurry photo. Like, is photo number 174 actually a blurry photo, or is this a picture of a blurry photo? Like, I'm seriously asking that. Medical mask, 3 of them outside. When were these taken though? Because that could have been from like forensics being trashy and not picking up their damn mess. I guess it'd be hard to tell at that point. Yeah, the kennel being in there is interesting because I pretty much can bet. I can pretty much bet whoever had like let that dog in had to have had the dog somewhere. Because nothing that they've said makes any sense. Oof. There it goes. Nothing that they've said makes any sense. Oh, I saw something. What was that? Thank you for the 199 and no description of a picture of the sheath. No, none. None. Because to me, like they have to move her. I feel like they would have had to have moved Maddie to be able to see it anyway. But at that point, I'm pretty sure that like forensics would have had to have gone in and started collecting evidence, which would have meant like possibly like moving her a little, maybe. I mean, I've been trying to find reasons for things. Just to like really like hone in on like all of the opinions and see like, are we really like reaching on some stuff, or is this shit really insane? And I've tried to like bring it down. And I really just can't, because even like in that right there saying, oh, they must have like had to have moved her. That's why there's no photos of it. But that doesn't make any sense because they were there for hours and hours and hours. Like, what were they doing walking around the house if they couldn't move the bodies to collect what they needed to collect and take photos of injuries and all those other things? I don't know anymore. Yeah. No, I think it's the first ones leading up to the second floor. That's why I'm going back in. Like, I'm going to go back and listen to like all of my lives and clip all of the really important, like stand outish ones like that. Like, I think I've done like 2. I've posted like 2 so far, but I'm going to do that with all of these weird ass reports like this. Yeah, like there's the coroner supposed to, but Mabbitt didn't show up until like I don't even know how long. That's why this still isn't like a good enough record, because we have Payne and Blaker showing up at like 4:00, right? And then as they're getting there at 4 p.m., the forensic team with ISP is just beginning to start processing. Like they're getting ready, they're preparing, like they're putting their booties on, they're getting their kits together, like they're there, like getting ready. So at the point that Blaker and Payne are going in there, like ISP technically hasn't even showed up yet, like inside the house. So if this guy cleared the area at like 1749, then I guess maybe Mabbitt wouldn't have shown up yet in order for her to do what she had to do, in order for them to have moved the bodies, for there to be a picture of the damn sheath. Because that's the only thing that I can honestly think at this point, is that it wasn't as like noticeable as they're trying to make it sound. Like, I know that there was like a comforter involved, and now like with the way that the reports are, like there was more covering up than normal. Like it seemed a lot more personal. Nothing else makes sense. Yeah, that's the only reason why, like, that's the only thing I can think of for why, like, at 7:59, at 17:59, because that's like, what, like 5 something? That had to have been like before Mabbitt got there. That's what I want to know. I want to know why there's blood at Jack Showalter's apartment. But like the woodpile guy, like that guy is crazy. I was talking to my buddy about that guy, and I was like, he's like 22. He apparently went to the Mad Greek, had a conversation with Maddie and Xana and Ethan. Not a good one. It sounded like it was like a political argument. He admits to this guy, and this is all, again, allegedly, this is just like a tip the guy brought in, but it's the one thing that James Fry even wrote a report on. That's why it's so interesting, because James Fry didn't do shit, remember? Like, his whole thing was, oh, I'm the chief, it's not my place. I delegate correctly, and I just stand back and support. Well, then why are you writing this report, bro? This report, okay? This dude is like 22. His mom is like an alcoholic that yells and screams at him apparently like all the time. And he blames what happened to her whenever she was on Greek row at the university for why she's all like screwed up now. And he claims that she started drinking in college at these parties. So that's why she drinks now. And that she's all angry because something happened to her, like an R happened to her at these parties. And that's why she's like the way she is towards him, is like the way this is going. So he blames the school for why his mom's like the way that she is to him. Then he says that he followed Maddie and Xana from the college to Mad Greek at some point to see like where they went, because whenever he gets mad because of his mom going off on him, where does he go to cool off? The college. I'm sorry. So then he says how he followed Maddie and Xana home one time. And then one time he was in the house whenever they all got home, or some people showed up at the house, and like he was able to just like be in the house with them there and then like get out at some point. And he was like, I could have them then and like nobody would have ever known. Then there's people like that in these reports. And I find it odd again that out of everything that we have read, that's like the only thing with James Fry's name on it. Is that one. So then I go back and I think about the R situation, because I know that like we just read a report where it sounded like this woman was like, use my R kit DNA. That's what it sounded like to me. But in the reports we've been going over, there is a report of them going down to the U of I and asking for like information on an old R case. Like not, well, I can't say old R case, but on an R case. It's just wild to me. There's just so much here. So much here. And nothing that points to the person that like took a plea agreement now. I'm not really quite understanding how we got here. Like if it was really this week, why didn't you just go to trial? Because if Thompson stood up during the trial and was like, we can't put him in direct contact with 1122 King Road, I'm pretty sure the jury would have been like, I'm sorry? Excuse me? Say that again? You can't? What are we here for? This is wild. Nothing that quiets the questions. Nope. What video evidence? There is no video evidence yet. I don't know, but his initial is G, which is wild too. I don't know if Mabbitt is bought and paid for or if she's just stupid. She does not sound very damn intelligent. When she was talking in those interviews about stuff, I mean, she could just not like being on camera. But I could have sworn that that's like a position that you have to like have some votes on to keep, as far as I'm understanding. Maybe not though. But she just doesn't seem like she's very intelligent. So if she's bought or whatever, then it could just be sort of like a Mickey Steins type thing, to where she just doesn't ask questions. She just does what she's told. Like they try to get away from that like Keystone Cop thing, like in the book, and I'm like, but everything about you is Keystone Cop. The F you mean, bro? Everything. You're writing reports 2 years later on the most high profile thing you'll ever touch in your life, and you're not even trying to make sure you're up to date with what's going on. You're not making sure that your supplements are written. You're going in and interviewing people after we have a plea deal for stuff. Like, what are you doing? Why is nothing caught up? Why is there tech errors and science errors and all these errors and everything, and nothing that points to your suspect? And what's really bothering me is there's all these channels going off about the soil. The soil didn't prove shit. The 4 reports about the soil, like, it just takes it away, takes it away, takes it away until it's like, oh, there's stuff in here that's not anywhere near this area. So no. They, they literally haven't given like anything. They haven't given us literally anything. Literally anything. Woodshed guy. Woodpile guy. That's what I call him. Because they said that he keeps his knives either like in the basement, in the wood pile, or in the sheds outside. So the only thing that I can think of is like my dad used to chop wood like in our backyard for our fireplace, right? Well, for our like wood burning stove that we had. So all I can see is like this like wood pile, like maybe some firewood stack with like, you know, a little bit messy wood. And he gets a knife and just like for funsies tosses it at the damn thing and just sticks it in there with the point stuck into the wood, and that's just how he stores his knives. That's what I got in my head whenever I saw that. So yeah. That's what I thought. He did, Jerry. That's why it doesn't really make a lot of sense why he was saying that he doesn't know certain things, because he knew stuff like all of the puncture wounds or all like the number of wounds that she had. He was wrong. He said that she had like over 50 at some point. I don't think they, I think it was like over 20. Or was it 30? I think it was Xana that had like the most stab wounds. It was Xana. So I don't know why because he has it, right? Like he would have the information. But that's the same thing I said about like, you can't sit here and say that Karen, Maddie's mom, is now telling you, oh, if I would have known about Kaylee's face, I would have never agreed to anything. You mean to tell me that y'all didn't have conversations, that you took over like talking for them? But y'all never like had conversations about anything at all? Like, I'm sorry. You can't say, why do you think they didn't want you to know? Well, why didn't you want her to know? Why wasn't that a discussion when y'all were trying to figure out what was going on? Like, what? So I just don't believe that. I feel like they all knew. I feel like they knew. The games, bro. The freaking head games. The head games. Thank you for joining, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Could the dog have been sedated? Thank you for the 279. I've said that. Honestly, from the very, very, very beginning, like I have videos from like before we ever had Bryan's name, where I was asking if the dog was sedated. Did somebody slip the dog something? Like, how did all of this happen in 8 hours? Because we heard about the front door being open as like a rumor in the very beginning. So then automatically it was like, okay, so we've got a dog wide awake running around the house for 8 hours. The door's wide open. The dog doesn't run out. Like, I'm sorry, there's no bloody paw prints all over the freaking house. There's nothing on the dog. What? No, none of that made any sense. So no, that was one of the things I questioned in the very beginning. Did somebody give something to the dog? But now the more that we're hearing, the more I'm like, okay, the dog might have been groomed by somebody. That doesn't mean he couldn't have been given something, but it would make it easier to coax him away from whoever's taken him outside if he knows the person who's doing the coaxing. So now whenever we read the DoorDasher stuff about how she magically had her dog and took her dog for a walk while she's looking for the place to deliver her food, like what? What? What kind of DoorDasher are you, bro? What kind of DoorDasher are you? Like, no, like there's just no way that the DoorDash app like lets you sit there. Like that's one thing my buddy said too. Like there's no way that the app will just like let you sit there at the location where you're supposed to be delivering the food for like X amount of time without it doing some sort of like delay alert or like updating something. So if she was really sitting there for that long, like it would have to show in her GPS on DoorDash. But I don't think she's like, something tells me she's not using her own account. I mean, I could be wrong. I need to go back and look at the way that they did the warrants. because they did like a geofence warrant, right? And I feel like the geofence warrant is where they really got Molly's information from. I feel like she told them later that she was door dashing, and then they did like something else with it. But I don't think she had her own DoorDash account. She's got too many arrests, too many speeding tickets. Like I don't believe that she was a legitimate DoorDasher. I just don't. There's something too fishy about that. Okay, well, what I'll say about this kind of stuff is to be careful because audio doesn't mean a lot. Audio can be manipulated. That's why Linda Lane, I don't believe a lot of Linda Lane, because just because some things like match up doesn't mean everything in it is legit. So while I don't like discourage, going out and doing things, be careful when all you're doing is getting audio of things, because that's not necessarily, you can say it's real AF, but that doesn't mean it's real AF. You have to take everything with a grain of salt and not act like it's 1,000%. You've got to be careful, especially with audio. So yeah. See, I said something sort of like this earlier, like he pled guilty for his own research. Like, because he's all full of questions, and I'm like, damn. Excited to move to Ada County? No. And that's my biggest question. What time did Xana and Ethan get home? What time? Because the book and the series that comes from the people that were apparently around them and all the little liars, and that's what I'm calling them because that's what they've proven to be, all the little liars, are now trying to say that the last time that David Barriocha saw Xana was walking out of the Sigma Chi party at 1:40, which would put them back at that original like 1:45-ish of everyone getting home boo-boo lie that they told us. But then we have Judge Hippler's order where he's the one telling us that at 2:00, something like right after 2:00, they're all in Kaylee's room trying to think about going to get food. Everyone but Xana and Ethan, because they weren't home yet. So no, to this day, no. See, but that's what I mean. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the Linda Lane stuff like syncs up. That's my perfect example. That's exactly what I mean. Just because there's tower bells and beep beeps and things like that match up, somebody who's good at what they're doing is going to make sure that all of those things are in there so that all the little extras are more believable, because now it's a different position. It's a different camera, right? So Banfield isn't going to be able to pick up the same things that Linda Lane can pick up, but there's still going to be those same background things. Am I making it clear? Just because it matches up to things where you can be like, oh crap, that's the same second that does that. Oh, that's got to be legit. That doesn't mean that the rest of it is. It just means the person who put it together knows what they're doing. So I'm just saying, keep that in mind. That's just common sense. That's all I'm saying. I can't, bro. Oh my God. This was my first thought. Like on day one, I'm like, this mofo was waiting in the house for these people. But that's because the cops were saying everybody got home at like 1:45 at the same time. And it made more sense to think that. Now it doesn't. It really doesn't. Unless it was the person that was grooming Murphy. They could be like maybe in that utility closet, maybe thinking no one's going to get in there in the middle of the night, or somewhere else, maybe the attic, something, maybe. I mean, damn, it's still possible. I remember early on they had an HVAC truck outside. So I was really hoping they were looking through the vents, the ventilation systems, up to see if like maybe somebody had been up there. I guess it's still possible, actually. Damn. It's just too much. It was Ethan's account that placed the DoorDash order. That's why it's like hard also to believe anything that they're trying to tell us, because all this time they've been like Xana for the DoorDash. But then all of a sudden the information comes out and it's from Ethan's account. There's nothing that says that she handed the food to anyone. That's another thing that came out of the damn DoorDash like interview thing, was that she's saying that she dropped it off at the front door, not that she handed it to anyone. So again, we don't have any proof of life for Xana. All we have is this peeping Tom of a person saying that she's watching somebody pop up and down in their window for 15 minutes like a weirdo. No. See, like if you're a DoorDasher, you have the capability of like messaging the person. Like I message my dashers constantly, especially lately because everyone always gets everything wrong. So I'm always having to message them and being like, can you please double check everything? Because I've had to report the last 5 accounts for missing half my meal. Okay. Can you check? So if someone's like running late, you can message them and be like, hey, I can't find your house. Can you describe to me your house? Like you can even call them. So yeah, no. Evidence in closets checked. I don't know. I'm guessing they took, yeah. I mean, like, Nunes says he checked stuff. And there's like pictures of the closets and stuff. Wasn't there a picture in one of the real estate ads from the bedroom that shows there was a crawl space door in someone's room? Yeah, there was like a secret, not like secret, but like small door type thing. There was some stuff that showed like where it led to. I'm sure that it's still out there, but I remember that because a lot of people were questioning if that's where somebody could have hid. That's the problem I have too. There's no way they discussed what they heard and didn't discuss calling the cops. That's what I wonder. That's why I'm like, you have to have known what you saw. Especially now. Like, the only other thing that stayed consistent is that Dylan thought it could have been one of Xana and Ethan's friends. Well, lo and behold, one of Xana's and Ethan's friends were driving around at 4 o'clock in the morning pretending to be a sober driver. And that's the first time that we ever heard that. Like, ever. I mean, that's fine. But whenever they're trying to say that it's for Xana, that it's proof of life for Xana, and they're not saying that at the end of the day, after all this stuff happened with Ethan's account, then she handed the food to Xana. Why are you trying to tell us that this is about Xana? Everything about it was Ethan's account. Nothing about like it was a gift or leave for Xana. Like there was no notes. So that's like the whole point of it. Like it's fine that she used her boyfriend's account, but why are the cops trying to tell us it's proof of life for Xana if there's no proof about anything for Xana when it comes to the DoorDash? We can't even prove that who this woman is claiming that she's seeing in the window is somebody with brown hair. You really can't. That too. What happened to them saying that Kaylee was found sitting up slouched over? According to the initial report, they were both found on their backs. And where does M say the perp has bushy eyebrows? Yeah, I didn't really notice that either. She says something about a freaking big nose, which is where I need to go back and check again. I don't remember which report it was, but I have them all on my lives, the hearings, so I can just go transcript Control F and find it. But I'm telling you, I think Ann Taylor lied about something. And I think it's the big nose thing. And I'm saying I think because I'm not 100% sure, but I think she did. Because something about the big nose thing was brought up. And Ann Taylor said something about how she never said anything about seeing a big nose, right? And then like transcript stuff came out, like about the interviews, not like transcript stuff, but like documents came out and it had like portions of what Dylan was saying. And it had the stuff about the vacuum type object and the firefighter and blah, 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 blah. But it didn't say nothing about a big nose. So I'm like, okay, so she, this matches what Ann Taylor said in court about there not being anything about a big nose. But then we get these documents and now we get in big nose. And I'm like, okay, well, if you would have just gone with big nose, then maybe this would have been a little bit more believable. But instead you're going with bushy eyebrows and Home Dude don't got that. So, and then you're going to recognize that nose. Like, I don't care if it's like a complete stranger. Okay. Like if you're in this like stressful situation and all you can see is like this part of this person's face. Okay. There's nothing that's going to like the second you see that again. It didn't happen for Dylan. Not even a little. So the fact that she can still just like wah in court and not think that we're watching her is really sad. The people that are giving her money are fools. They're fools. She has kept her mouth shut this entire time. She has not come forward and told her own story about what actually happened. She's letting the cops do all of this while she's not even red in the face. Her eyes are not red. She's barely got a little bitty bit of wetness underneath her eyes. There's no redness. She's making a lot of noise for nothing. Okay. She heard screaming. She heard a struggle. She heard things. She heard voices say more than, I'm going to help you, or it's okay, I'm going to help you. There was like a whole nother sentence in front of that. And now Bethany, now there's no excuse for neither one of them little girls, okay? Because obviously they're too stupidly immature to be living on their own. Even now Bethany cannot say, oh, I was asleep and Dylan called me freaking the hell out and I didn't hear or see anything because little Miss Exculpatory heard a freaking firecracker and saw lights underneath her door. They all collectively heard shit going on. And the only way that it works to where no one ran out the house, no one called to get help, no one did any damn thing is if there were multiple people in that damn house and threats were being made and things were left the way they were left for a reason. There's nothing that they've told us that puts anything together. Nope, you're right. So Maddie, not Kaylee, took Murphy out with Bethany. Then Bethany goes inside because she's cold or something. And she says, Maddie asks her if she saw Murphy. Am I missing something? Now, I don't know why Bethany goes inside. I don't remember if it said something about being like cold or not. I don't remember that part. But I did find it odd that Maddie and Bethany are the ones who took the dog out whenever Kaylee is freaking there. Okay. Because it's not saying what Kaylee's doing. And at this part, like, they've already apparently like been in Kaylee's room talking about going to Taco Bell, because that's the restaurant that was mentioned, talking about going to Taco Bell while Kaylee's changing her clothes to get ready for bed. So I'm guessing the clothes that she was in was like her pajama pants and stuff like that. Even though she had her earrings and stuff on, I guess she just wasn't like going to bed yet. Because, I mean, there was music and singing still happening in the house. People were watching Vampire Diaries and like hanging out in the living room. Like, the entire story that we've been told is a freaking lie. And the lie, the watered down lie already looked bad for Dylan alone, right? Bethany, maybe not so much, but Dylan, frick yeah, it looked hella bad for Dylan already. So now we get the non-watered down version with the more details, and it looks worse. And it looks worse for Bethany now too. It literally makes all the people they cleared look worse. It's insane. But yes, I don't know why Kaylee didn't take the dog, but Maddie and Bethany went. I don't know what time they came back inside, but Bethany's story is that around 2:30, Maddie came down to her room and asked her if she saw Murphy because she couldn't find him. What we don't know is if Murphy was ever found prior to the killings. I guess maybe we can assume that because Dylan apparently claims that she's hearing Kaylee playing with her dog, but that could honestly be Kaylee in a damn struggle, fighting with somebody that's attacking her, not playing with her dog. That could technically be that. Because I don't remember reading anything about Dylan saying Murphy was barking. Do y'all remember anything about that? Like in these reports that we just read, do y'all remember Dylan or Bethany saying anything about Murphy barking? I'm gonna have to go back because I don't remember. Bro, if they were dudes, they would have been cuffed the hell up. Cuffed the hell up and not let out until they could let them out. See, that's another thing. Maybe the DoorDash was ordered by someone in the house to throw off the timeline. But you know what? I don't even know, like, if it needed to be, like, just any DoorDash, right? Because now I'm really wondering, like, can you contact people and have it, like, look like this? Like, this wasn't something I thought was possible, right? And, like, I even had somebody that was sending me a lot of information about how DoorDash works in the very beginning because she's, like, a DoorDasher in that area. Not like Moscow, like not that specific area, but like I think like Seattle maybe, or Portland, somewhere over there, somewhere in that, like, you know, up there area, right? And so she was explaining to me like how DoorDash works and all that other stuff, and I'm like, okay, so it's literally by chance. Like, it is legitimately by chance, right? But is it really? Because I'm really wondering now, like with the way the Uber stuff works with Eric Gower and the girls, right? Because now it's like they keep saying Uber, 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 Uber. And I'm like, why the frick do they keep saying Uber? He was a private driver. Well, then the documents are saying that at 1:15, he went off the clock with Uber. But still, when he picked up the girls, even though he was on the clock for Uber, he got a private message to go and pick them up from King Road, right? So I know that there was like a DoorDash order because we have the receipt from Ethan's account. But could MM in the conversation information, which we need to go back over that now that we have like more initials and more things, because there's an MM that one of the girls contacts. Some people think it could be Maddie, but now we have another MM and a really weird ass story. So we don't really know if it's Maddie or if it's Molly that's being talked about. Context matters. And now that we have this other piece of this, it makes you want to go back and question that. So could this message to this other, to MM, actually have been to Molly in order to orchestrate whatever the frick we're seeing now? Like, is that possible with DoorDash? Could she have been told, hey, this is what we're about to do, get over to that area so you can snatch it up, and because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, she would probably be the only one out? Because if it is by chance, if you're doing something shady at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning when no one else is ordering DoorDash, your likelihood of picking up that random order pretty much skyrockets to the top. We don't know. Because there's that one too. But there's also the brother, Matt Moy or whatever. Moye, however you freaking say it. There's a boy, Matt or Matthew. Bro, tell me about it. Going through the documents we've just read, how are Dylan and Bethany not suspects? At least not in like, maybe not, like, I don't put shit past Dylan, okay? I don't give a damn, okay? You look at her and her psychosis issues, all of that shit was from before this happened, okay? She already had paranoia problems. She was already somebody who says that she would like fall asleep to like crime shows and stuff, which is like, you know what? Neither here nor there. We all do that. But then she's talking about like the nightmares and the stuff that she has and how she like always has dreams and stuff about someone chasing her, trying to kill her. And her paranoia about how she calls people for help just by hearing some noises in the kitchen. Okay, she had problems before, okay? So if you're like that, and then you're also doing other things and you're drinking, like there's no telling what that mix could actually do, okay? Women are capable of some scary shit, okay? Little girls, Slender Man, okay? Again, we just had like some 5th graders that just got in trouble for a murder to freaking plot. I mean, like a whole plot to like kill somebody, okay? 5th graders. There was a story here in Texas of an 8-year-old who shot a man that he didn't even know. This dude walked across the freaking parking lot of this RV place where him and his grandpa were staying one summer here in Texas, and he just decided, I'm going to kill that guy. I don't know why, but I'm just going to do it. So he gets up in the middle of the night, goes and gets his grandpa's pew-pew out of his freaking truck, goes into this guy's RV and pops him. Puts it back in the truck and goes back to bed. Doesn't say a word for 2 years. Threatens to take the life of a little girl on the bus at 10 years old, and then says something to her about how he got away with it before he can do it again. And then he tells the cops about how he shot the guy. This man never touched this child. This man never met this child. This child literally saw him that one time walking across that parking lot and decided to go stupid. Evil is born. Okay? You look at Dylan and tell me, my opinion only, something's not a little crooked there. Okay? So I don't know. All I know is that her story is shit. She's hearing everything and doing nothing. She's making up whatever she's making up to tell Bethany to get Bethany not to call the cops. That's pretty much like where I'm at with it. What was she telling Bethany to manipulate Bethany into like maybe not doing anything? Because that's something that people need to consider too. There's a lot of conversation there that we are not privy to because it's all verbal. She refused to speak. They refused to talk at the memorial. Even now, Bethany wasn't even at this thing. She had somebody else read a letter for her. What you scared for? Nothing here makes any sense. All of it's disgusting. It's just too much. She is very crooked. Jules, was this a typo in the docs? Have you seen anything about Linda Lane having 4 cameras? Because we've only seen 2 and I can't remember where I've seen that at. I'm not sure. I know that there was some discussions about the cameras. They felt familiar though. So I'm not sure. But like I said, I'm going to go back like through everything and get like all the clips of all the stuff. And if it's like something like the cameras, like the fact that they're like admitting now that that one camera at 1112 was like broken by them and stuff like that, and how they had to manipulate the servers and do all kinds of crazy shit just to get the audio and the video off of it. Like all of that needs to be like in a video itself, because it's all the crazy shit. It's all the camera stuff. This is like where you're supposed to be getting all your evidence. You go and you return it back to the owner because you couldn't get any information off of it. You didn't even bother. You just tried one time and said, can't do it. Bring it back. What? All of it is just so horrible. Horrible. Tenth grade. That's fine. Ariel started her little first job today. She had fun. They're all growing up. Bro, that's what I said. I said, Emily, how does it feel knowing that Dylan lied to your face? Especially now that the reports came out. Are you going to still always defend Dylan the way that you said in the Amazon series? Or are you changing your mind now because she heard screaming and a struggle, and Bethany apparently heard stuff too? So let me rephrase the question, Emily. How do you feel knowing that both Bethany and Dylan lied to your face? When are they going to come out and have conversations about how they feel now that all this is out here and they were lied to? They were literally called over there to find the crime scene and be the ones to take responsibility for calling 911 and reporting what happened by both Dylan and Bethany. They were played by them. Emily, why are you reading Bethany's letter? Do you regret that now that the evidence came out to prove that she did hear shit and Dylan did hear shit? Do you feel some type of way knowing that you were just the messenger for someone who used you and lied to your face? How does that feel? Waiting for that interview. Insane. I'd be so angry. Like, I would be freaking throwing fists, bro. I'd be going and finding them. How dare you call me, lure me over there under the I'm so scared boo-boo whenever you knew what was going on. You knew. You had full carnal knowledge of everything, if you want to be so for real. That part. Actually, no. Dylan and Bethany are not the ones that got those tattoos. I think it's Bethany and somebody else. I think it's Bethany and somebody else. It's either Bethany and somebody else or Dylan and somebody else, but it's not the both of them. That was something that everyone thought because that was what like people were saying at first, but that's not the truth. I can't remember which one's which, but it's not both of them. That's what I want to know too. Especially now. Like, I want to know if Molly knew anyone in that house in one way, shape, or form. It's crazy stuff. Dylan's GoFundMe is over $90,000. She wasn't even a good actress. That's wild. But see, we don't even know if that's the reason. I mean, it might be the reason, especially if she did see like frat people that were involved. Because I know that that's a big thing. Like you call your sorority first, like you call the frat first. But that's not even like, I guess it is sort of what happened, but not really at the same time. And Greek row shit is bullshit. Either way. It wasn't a leak. It was a FOIA request that the channel that goes by Christy Nevada got. And she does. We did a video on it. She is getting pulled over in Moscow, late night door dashing with a headlight out and like something else wrong. And she is getting a ticket or something from Brett Payne. Okay. She looks right at the camera and says, I'm friends with Bill Thompson. And like makes this face like Brett Payne is explaining to her how like the court thing works about like handling the ticket. And she's just like, I'm friends with Brett Payne. As she's sitting there eating the person's DoorDash order. Yeah. Because like the first thing I noticed was the smugness on her face. The second she said that, it's just like the angle of her face, the way she said it, I'm like, ooh, she does shit. She does shit. That's a smug, I can get away with shit because I do shit face. I seen it. I seen it. Did you see someone posted a report on Twitter that Bill Thompson prosecuted her husband's, maybe? Probably. I didn't see it, but probably. I mean, it's in that district, so it wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Right? Like, she's protected. She's smug as shit. Smug as shit. Smug as shit. Molly's last name is McMichael. Molly Marie McMichaels. I'm pretty positive. I had said McDaniels before too, but it's McMichael. So I don't know if that changes your web there or not. I saw a couple of them. I saw like 2 of them, I think. 2 or 3. I know that there was some where she was like inside. I don't know if he was whispering anything. I'm not sure. Probably though. She comes back as a protected person on the dispatch audio. During which stop? The Pullman one or the Moscow one? I have to go back and listen to that. And remember how Steve's text said that the FBI was going to come after him if he didn't back off the CI? Yeah. I don't even think that was a text. I think he said that. Like, I'm seeing his face say that. I think he said that in an interview. But there was also some stuff about that when it comes to the messages between him and Brett Norton, which I really want time to, because there's a shit ton of messages. But I need to go through them and pull out the ones where he's talking about knowing what Dylan and Bethany were discussing, because he's very specific. And that's what pisses me off, because he's known since day one that Dylan was lying. So really, Steve, who's protecting the university players? Bill Thompson or you? Because you've known that Dylan's been lying to your face since the memorial, when she told you that she didn't hear or see anything after Jack Jacor already heard her on the phone. Like, that part's even in the report. Like, Jack Jacor in the report, it says he's hearing Dylan talking about what happened. I don't remember if it says on the phone or talking to somebody else, but he heard her having the conversation about seeing someone in black and blah, 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 blah. That's why whenever Steve wanted to speak to them, he wasn't expecting Dylan to be like, I didn't hear or see anything. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know. Then the PCA came out and everything that Jack Jacor told him was validated because, oh, Dylan did see something. And now we're being told that come the PCA. Steve has known since day one and has protected her. Why? Olivia sits here in her interviews and says that she messaged both Dylan and Bethany the morning that all this shit happened, trying to get a hold of them to see what was going on with Kaylee and Maddie. And they were both left on red with no response ever. Even to this day, they have never spoken to them. And I don't understand Olivia's mindset with, they don't owe me answers. They don't owe me anything. Excuse me? Y'all are the only people on the planet they do owe something to. What do you mean? What? The mindset. I could never be this way. I could never be this way. And then to just talk nicely about them. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I actually, and I shouldn't have, because I unfortunately knew this already. I had to take a ride somewhere earlier and was on my phone bored as shit and was like, let me see if what I heard was true, because someone said she was supposed to have Cyree on her channel at some point. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's going to be like a live incoming or like a post about it, because I'm not going through her videos to find that. So I'm just looking to see if like she's maybe mentioned something, right? You don't need to raise money to do a docuseries on what you did in this case, whenever everything that you've done in this case is literally already documented on your channel. Why do you feel like you need to get money from your viewers for better equipment for you to do something that you already have all of the documentation for? I don't understand that, but you know what? To each their own. And if people do that, then that's on them. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, I knew about that. I went over there looking for something about Cyree and walked away with what? It's not really a GoFundMe. It's like on another website. But I clicked it and I was like, what the frick frack is this, bro? What is this? It's too much. Bro! This part. If the parents are going through these reports, how could they not have questions about everything? I know Steve has questions. What's making me mad is that he's not talking to the people that are going to listen to those questions, and I don't want to talk to him. I know that they know who I am. Okay, they've blocked me and unblocked me. You have to go through steps in order to unblock somebody. They know who I am, especially since JLR now has me blocked. I talk shit to him constantly over on Twitter, and that's Steve's little bestie. You know, JLR can talk all kind of shit about Maddie and Kaylee, but then Steve becomes his friend. Okay, but Steve needs to go and actually ask the questions somewhere where someone's going to listen. Ashley Banfield is not going to listen. She sits there on the phone and she just, oh, my heart just breaks. For what? Do you even know what your heart's breaking for? Because I don't think that you're paying attention to life. Brian Itten's a suck up now. And I don't know how much longer he's going to like keep talking to the Goncalveses, because I have a feeling that if people on the Kohberger side want to talk, Brian Itten is going to jump on the first opportunity to speak to them. And that's going to ixnay his connection to the Goncalveses, just based off of Olivia's answer about if Brian wanted to speak. I think it would be the same if it were any of the Kohbergers. I think that if he were to interview them, they would never talk to him again. So I don't know who Steve needs to talk to. But Steve obviously has the right questions. And he's like, that's what makes me even more upset about Steve, is that he had questions in the beginning and then he just went stupid for a while. And now he's back to asking questions. And if you're so dead set on this guy that you wanted to like wish the biggest R scenario on, okay, if you're so positive that he's the guy to where you're not embarrassed about how your wife and daughter spoke in court, then why are you still sitting here saying that Thompson's protecting the university whenever Kohberger doesn't have anything to do with the university? Explain that to me, Steve. Like I'm 5. Obviously, he knows something. Because he's even like, I know he's going through the paperwork, because he's mentioning like the R cases at the university and stuff like that while he's on the phone with Ashley Banfield. What's really crazy is that they're bringing that kind of stuff up now in a case where that's apparently not motivation. So the only thing I can think of is why? Why are y'all going in and why are y'all looking into that? If you say that this has nothing to do with that, then why is that something that you're going and researching? Why is that now something that Steve's bringing up so hardcore and so angrily? But we also need to remember that there was apparently like a 3-hour session where they spoke with the prosecutors for like whatever, some time. And Steve is acting like they didn't get any information from that. And I'm like, for 3 hours and you didn't get anything? Maybe were you like not answering, like not asking the right questions? Like, how do you sit with him for 3 hours and come away with nothing? So I don't really know if that's too true either. Steve's done a lot of stuff just for attention. Like the courtroom thing. I'll just keep going back to the courtroom thing because he could have gone through the entrances that were secure, and instead he decided to put on a show. He was the only one. I just don't know. I just don't know. There's just so much here that I don't see how they can just be like, you know, totally okay with what's going on. I just don't get that. Especially with like Steve Jr. coming out. I really wish that Steve Jr. would have done that speech in court. I really wish that Steve Goncalves would have opened his mouth about Bill Thompson in court. Some people think it may be because there was like a stipulation to where they like were not allowed to address the prosecution. I don't remember that being my stipulation. Like if we were to go to court, like I was going to basically be able to say whatever I wanted, which would have been a shit ton about the prosecutor. So much. But I don't know, maybe it's different in Idaho. I don't know. Well, see, it's not even that he took a plea, though, Charmed. Like, he's the one, the defense went to the state. The defense went to the state after Hitler gave them a form and like a deadline to turn it in. And I know that he probably thought, because of the way that Hitler dealt with the alternate perpetrators, that he probably didn't have a choice. Because Thompson mentions that portion like twice, I think, in like where the turning point was. And I feel like if there was like legitimate information in there when it came to possible, you know, situations, and the way that Hitler addressed it, how freaking sarcastically disgusting Hitler behaved regarding that, and how personal he for some reason took it. I mean, I just feel like at that point, he probably just figured, like, I can't do this. There's no point. He's going to constantly try to turn everything into something that it's not. Because he's done that. Hitler has done that twice now in documents when it comes to things. He has put weight on the Moscow traffic stop whenever all it was for was identification. He tried to say it was for pre-planning and all this other bullshit, which is not true. And then he's also the one that's coming out and like definitively putting the car as the car before we even got to trial, right? And then the whole thing about them being in the room with Kaylee trying to like go get food, all that stuff came from Hitler. I don't think Hitler knows what his place is. I don't think he knows his place. Unless he gets paid to not know his place, which is probably what it actually is. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he does, because if he doesn't appeal within this like 30 something days he's got left, like I'm going to question some stuff. Because actions do speak louder than words. And if you have that option to appeal, now we've seen all of this shit. Now would be the time. Now would be the time. Because there's no way. Like, there's even people that are constantly doing this bullshit on Twitter that now they're getting like confronted with these documents and they're just like not even responding. Like, they've been pushing this bullshit, just like being complete horrible creatures on Twitter. And now these documents are being like, people are going back in and going back to like their old post, retweeting it or quoting it, whichever one you have to do, to like put your own shit on there. And they're putting the document and being like, okay, what about this? What about this and this? What now? Crickets. Amazing. I was waiting. I was like, one thing. Like, we've been waiting for just one thing. And even now with like the stuff about the sheath and the knife purchases and all the other stuff, it still doesn't go together. It still doesn't link up the way that it's supposed to. I don't see how he couldn't have won at trial, but it really just all depends on the people. And I think what they were looking at was the consensus. I mean, look at Dylan. Dylan's GoFundMe is like number one. Okay, that's a great example. So there's a reason why she waited. There's a reason why she waited until she can put her face in front of a camera and put on an act before she put that GoFundMe up. There's a reason. It's all very strategic. No aha moment. Nothing's changed. I just don't understand why the Supreme Court hasn't stepped in by now. Like, how do the people that actually are supposed to be like in charge of making sure that shit works right in the court system, seeing all of this all over the news, reading these documents, looking at all this stuff and just being like, okay. It's insane. There's not a single thing in any of this stuff that points to him anymore. And every time the state has opened their mouth, it has just been dwindled down more and more. I really do hope, though, that Cy comes out and talks. Because he had, to me, the most weight. He had his position on this case had the most weight. Like, I know Bicca Barlow is a big deal for when it comes to like the DNA stuff. But Cy again has only put guys away. Never worked for the defense. Is putting a 20+ year career on the line for free. So he's not even going to get like a big paycheck before he might lose everything in his career. He's doing it all for free. Gets called a conspiracy theorist in court by this judge who's disgustingly hypocritical. Okay. When he doubles down. After rumors of him no longer working for the defense start going around incorrectly, he then doubles down and gets called a conspiracy theorist. Cy should have been screaming a long time ago. So if what I heard is the truth and she has him on her channel, Truth and Transparency has him on, then I'll go watch it and take notes and we'll talk about it. I know that he's talked to her before, but he has his own channel. So I don't know why he couldn't just go on his own channel and talk about stuff. You know? And then, do you guys remember Special Agent Easter? Oh, what's his first name? Is it Michael Easter? I don't want to say Michael. That sounds wrong. But we talked about him because he went on like 2 different shows, 2 different podcasts, and said that he worked in the Kohberger case. Okay. I listened to like an 8-minute clip earlier today where he went back on one of the podcasts. It's like older lady, greenish background, JSTV, maybe. I don't know the name. I don't watch the channel. Anyway, he's basically saying now that he didn't technically work the Kohberger case. That a guy that he trained was working the Kohberger case. So he was basically just like support for him. Like if he needed something, he would call him. Bro, you made yourself sound like you was something that you're not. That shit ain't cute. Not cute at all. He hasn't been, I noticed. I noticed that. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. That's the one. He says it basically like the guy that he trained was working the case. So he wasn't technically working the Kohberger case. He was just like there in case, like by phone, in case his student needed him, is how I took it. He called Nick Balance Nick Belove. I did hear a weird. Is that what he meant? I thought maybe I just was like, didn't hear something correctly. So Papa Rogers was a woman. That's been the thought for like 2 years now. That account came back active several times after Bryan Kohberger was arrested. And at some point, it says something about how Papa Rogers changed her something like that. Like it's a female pronoun, but you can make an account and they don't check if you're a girl or a boy, you know, so I guess it could be either way. But no, that account was active after he was arrested several times. And yeah, the whole female thing was on there. A lot of people honestly thought that it was Jennifer Coffingagger at first. And I'm like, maybe, but she's really just not that smart. So probably not. I think it was a cop. Her name was Yizu. So y'all actually like found out who it actually was? There's a woman claiming to be a security guard for the prison saying that they are making Bryan's life a living hell. Well, all he has to do is file writs of habeas corpus or whatever the frick you call it and like handle that if they're doing stupid shit. There's really just like no telling. They really kind of like can't though. Like honestly, like there's rules they have to follow. So while it might, you know, she might be thinking that or saying that, like they kind of can't. Like at the same time, like they can talk big shit, you know, but there's rules they have to follow and stuff that they can't just like do crazy shit. Actually, I did. I watched one of them. There's the judge from the Parkland case. She was making some comments just on the case itself. Now, the video that I watched, I don't think she discussed any evidence. It was more like how the case was handled and how like the victim's parents, like how the prosecution handled the victims' families is basically like what her comments were on, which she like out of anybody would be able to definitely speak on that because everyone that was in her courtroom were like either the victims that survived somehow or like the families of the people that were lost. Like I remember specifically there was even like a girlfriend of one of the boys that was killed that got to get up on the stand and talk, and she wore his big baggy shirt, and it was emotionally sad. Like it was jacked up. And you know, they were in school. They weren't married or anything. They were just dating, and she was allowed to get up and speak about how messed up she was. So yeah, if anybody's going to know like the proper way to handle the families, it would be her. I liked the video that she did. I didn't know about the second one. I'll have to go and see. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I am doing a members only live tomorrow at 5 o'clock. An actual members only live, since we kind of like messed up this Monday a little bit. From now on the members only lives, I'll be doing a shirt giveaway. Well, either like a shirt or a hat or like a mug, something along those lines, like the one of those three for the members. Since we only get to do it like only have time to do it like once a month, we're gonna start doing like a giveaway once a month. So, just to let you know, members, if you don't want the merch, that's fine. You can go on to somebody else, but it's either going to be like this hat or like the t-shirt, the short sleeve t-shirt, if I could speak English correctly, or like this cup. I'm going to start giving that stuff away. So, and maybe every now and then, like in the regular ones like these, we can start doing like sticker giveaways. That'd be kind of cool. I like giving away stuff, so we're probably going to do that. Okay. I talked a lot more than I wanted to, but that's because I can't shut up about this case. It drives me insane. Your bank account got hacked? Change all your passwords all the time. All of the time. All of the time. All right. That's wild. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and roll this out of here. It is 11 o'clock. I need some tea. Where's this thing at? Okay, let me put this out. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. Okay, you guys. See y'all.